Welcome to another edition of TSSA Safety Matters. I'm your host, Greg Kerr from Stakeholder Relations, and today we're with Sad Verdi, Regional Supervisor for Fuel Safety Program, and John Todorovsky, who's a Fuel Safety Inspector, and we're on location at Landscapers Ontario's Congress Centre for a few thoughts on the importance of pipeline safety, the role that landscapers play, and TSSA's important place in safety. So thanks for being with us today, guys.
Thank you. Rob, John, thank you for giving us the opportunity to actually present our side of the business on public safety, on the pipeline safety.
Mm-hmm. So first off, what is this place?
Well, this place is Toronto Congress Centre, where it's a huge trade show centre where Landscape Ontario since 1973 have been holding their annual conference or trade shows. This is the first year we're participating here, and the unique thing about this show is this is the biggest in North America, number one. Number two, it's the most progressive one and recognized in the United States as the leading edge as far as the landscape of Ontario or whatever they do in the landscaping business. And the third one is we have over 800 exhibitors here who are involved in some kind of fashion of either breaking the ground or digging or excavation that involves our side of the business. And the third one is we have over 800 exhibitors under 8 acres of showroom space in Toronto.
Excellent. So John, how's the reception been so far?
Oh, fantastic. I think we've had over about 140 people already visit us, asking many questions, and then when they got the answers back to the questions, they were quite astounded at and surprised to actually what they're doing, and not knowing any of the regulations being involved in what they're doing over there. They come into our world, and not knowing the laws and regulations, they're kind of taken aback at this, and they're wondering why they were doing what they're doing.
Now you have more than just contractors, you have like schools here too as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. We've got quite a few schools. The majority of the students over here right now are coming in from Mohawk College, the horticultural program that's going on over there, and they had no idea that they had to get locates. Yes, they're digging flowers, but they're putting flower beds in. You know, they're working for the Parks Department, and they're doing things for them, but they had no idea that there's major gas lines that are running through some pretty big parks over there, and I've talked to one this morning, and they said they've come about 10 inches away from hitting an 8-inch high-pressure steel gas main, and just trying to install a flower bed in a park.
The other aspect that we found here is we don't only have the excavators or the landscapers that are coming and looking for information and taking from us. We also have the other certificate holders and the authorization holders from the director, who also have the other aspects of the business of the fuel that have made a comment that this kind of information is not available anywhere else so they could get it. So it's been a great venue for us to promote this and pass the information that we have.
So ultimately, what do landscapers, albeit anybody who breaks ground, really need to know? What are the important issues?
Well, the number one issue is going to be to know what to do before they break the ground, which is to call before you dig. And there's a whole set of procedures that they have to actually educate themselves into knowing how to go about doing that. And this is where the great challenge is, I think, from our perspective, is we have 4,000 damages a year in province of Ontario. 50% are still people who don't call in, which means no locates are called. So we got 2,000 damages a year occurring with people who have no idea they got to call in for a locate. Okay.
So a good part of this is about education. John, you cover a large area that specifically around this, and you've got a lot of experience. What role does education play for you?
Oh, huge. I mean, you never stop hearing excuses for people not knowing this, not knowing that. I mean, the gas companies usually every quarter they send out pamphlets in the people's buildings, and telling them to call the Ontario One call before they excavate in the ground. The biggest thing that I do see when I'm out on the field doing things is people do not, like Sat said, do not understand that they need a locate. Second thing, after getting the locates, they do not understand that there's an expiration date on that locate too. They can't use that for a year from today. Yes, it is invalid after 30 days. The third thing is, now once they get that, they will ask for a certain area to be located. Now, when they're asking for, they've got to be careful, because whoever's requesting that located area to be in that specific area to be excavation to be done in that area, they think they're actually getting what they're not getting. Okay, meaning that the locate will come and probably misinterpret what the request was all about and give them an actual different area. And when they go out, they could hit a gas line anywhere, not knowing that they're in the wrong location because of the way that they requested it. So it's reading, interpreting it, understanding what that locate's all about, knowing where your marks are, and verifying it. It's all about communicating. And like I said, a lot of the contractors here just there are simple little things like that. They didn't know to ask the proper questions, and that communication thing just keeps coming on and lingers on.
Now, there are other issues that are connected with some of the excavation practices. Not getting locates is one. Are there others that you think are really important?
You know, I should reinforce that when we get a damage report or we're informed of a damage, there's a whole process that goes into place, and the process starts with looking at the contractor. And our focus generally is basically on education, prevention, and then finally the third aspect, which is legislation and regulation. And depending on what happens after that, we'll go for prosecution. But let me explain. The first part is when the damage occurs, we look at the contractor, look at the history, see how this contract has been in our history before. And have we delivered a safety presentation? Have we delivered the safety message to this contractor? And that's where we start with.
So if somebody has a pipeline hit, you look into that, and then you sit that person down and you give them a presentation.
And we educate them on the process of public safety and pipeline safety, and and looking at once we've gone through that, and we generally do partner with the utilities, Enbridge, Union Gas, and the other ORCGA, which we were parcel of the foundation of the organization 10 years ago.
Sorry, okay, who or what is ORCGA?
Ontario Regional Common Ground Alliance is the organization that promotes public safety as far as the excavation practice goes. It's a best practice group where most of the industry people come together and they sit down and formulate the best practice, which adopted into our guideline, which is part and parcel of this. Which the book is available online from TSSA now, which never was, and gives the outline of what our regulation is and the Electrical Safety Authority regulation is. This is a jointly book done by TSSA and ESA.
So, in fact, the ORCGA is a unique body in itself, and it has industry members, it has TSSA, and all around these excavation practices, right?
ORCGA, since its inception 10, 11 years ago now, has grown from, I think, few members to close to about 500-600 members now that they participate in a yearly conference. In fact, next one is due next month, and we're usually on the conference from the regulator's perspective, trying to address any safety concerns we might have on that side.
Now, in April, they have something called Dig Safe Days, and I guess they're thinking that that's a prime time. It's when people begin to break ground and do landscaping and things of that nature. So, John, are there things that we do during that month to actually promote better pipeline safety?
Yes, we do. We do a lot. During the Dig Safe month, during April, we do a lot of on-site inspections. We will meet with contractors on-site. We will talk to them, make sure they've got their locates in hand. Just to take a friendly reminder that they have to have the locates, expires, where they're excavating, how they're excavating, maybe some better practices, and get them in touch with some of the people that they really need to get in touch with through the utilities that they had no communication with in the past, or even the locate companies that they could probably better verify what they need. And just like Sad said, educate them a little bit more, make sure that they're aware it is Dig Safe month, that there's a lot going on, and the TSSA, when it comes to pipeline inspections, we will not feel the wrath of the damage until the following month. It'll hit us in May, so whatever happens in April will hit us in May, whatever happens in May will hit us in June, and we try to keep up with all these pipeline hits. Hopefully this year we're going to have a lot better year, much better year than last year. We've had a lot of pipeline strikes last year in 2013, so I think we're going to, by TSSA being part of this Landscape Ontario forum over here today, I really feel that we're going to be impacting the public quite a bit over here.
And there's actually a decrease in pipeline hits over the past 6 years.
Let me give you history from last 10 years. Originally, when we first started looking at pipeline strikes, and since I've been here with TSA over 15 years now, Back when I came in, back in 1998, 99 era, 2000, we had over 6,600 line strikes a year. Now, if you come forward to 2013, we have just over 4,000. So we have a decrease of 2,000 line strikes per year. But you have to remember, in that 10-year period, we had construction activity increased by 300%, and the locate requests have gone up by just as many percentage. And as more and more education sessions we do, and more requests for locates are going in, it's been a positive turnaround, but we still have long ways to go yet.
So I guess that also means that going to other conferences where like condo developments or things of that nature, right?
Well, like I said, we in Region 3, my team and I were involved in approximately 200 of these presentations every year. And not just dealing with the Road Builders Association, Home Builders Association, then you got the commercial condo corporations, as you mentioned, and so on and so forth. So we try and get out this message to wherever there could be an impact on public safety as far as the pipelines and the ground goes. And again, understanding that we work with the utilities as we're major partners, because they have the infrastructure in the ground and it's their plant. And we try and partner with the utilities and with any of the safety organization agencies, MOL, MOE, OFM, to deliver that message home. And again, the emphasis on proactive rather than reactive.
So let me play devil's advocate for a minute. What if I say time is money, and I don't want to bother with a locate?
Well, the service to call for locate is free, which means that it doesn't cost you any money to call in for a locate. But at the same token, you must plan your work ahead of time, and don't expect to get a locate on a turn of a dime, because that's not going to happen. Usually it's 5-day turnaround period when you call in for a locate, and in that five days you can plan what you want to do and put the service in, and the locate is delivered to you, and then you can go ahead and do your activity.
So John, what's your message if I said that to you?
I would say, you know what? Be careful. Be careful, because you don't want to get what you're going to kind of wish for over there. You're playing with public safety. You're playing with your own lives. You're playing with the safety of the public as well. It's just like an iceberg. You only see the tip of the iceberg when you're going in the ocean over there. But the bigger part of it is underneath the ocean that you don't see. It's probably about 10 to 15 times bigger than that. So if an incident does occur, you're talking a lot of rehabilitating time. You're talking insurance. You've got to have a lot of insurance. But I would just heed that warning out to anybody that's thinking of not getting locates, and adhering to all that before they start excavating.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've been in the industry quite a long time. Both of you have been in the industry for quite a long time. You've seen a lot of things from minor to major. Is there anything memorable that comes to mind in terms of that reinforces why pipeline safety is so important?
Yes, particularly when you're doing an investigation or an inspection on a line damage where there's been a fatality. And then you find out that none of the rules and regulations in place, were followed through with, which caused somebody to lose their life. And and that kind of changes your thinking a little bit on how you're going to address the public safety aspect and how you're going to deliver that message home. Again, the emphasis is on trying to educate and make sure everybody understands what the impacts are, dangers are, and secondly, prevention.
And I guess at the end of that stream, it's prosecution, right?
If all fails, then we'll play the last card that we have in our arsenal, which is going for prosecution and getting a message home. And we've done that successfully a number of times now, where we had contractors who would just not listen.
Mm-hmm. And I think in the past 3 years, we've collected like over $40,000 in fines associated with pipeline hits. One contractor that got $25,000. That's the biggest that any contractor has received. So that is sending a very strong message out there.
It is. Yeah.
So guys, is there anywhere anybody can go if they want more information, like on how to read a locate, on why there's you have to dig 3 feet from the marking, things of that nature?
We've been passing out information just on that basis. If somebody's looking for more information, is to either contact the utilities, because we work very closely with the utilities and making sure the education portion is there. If somebody's looking for schooling on how to relocate, which is the number one factor out there. We also, as TSSA, will deliver that information, that training session if need be, because we are equipped to do that, and we will always bring in our partners, which are the utilities, because they also have a vested interest in promoting that safety.
Greg, they can also give us a call personally. I mean, we've got a lot of numbers from the people that we did visit out on site. They've got our numbers. They could give us a direct call, and we could answer the questions for them. If they need more information, like Sad said, we'll give them the numbers of the utility members that they could talk to. We'll do presentations for them. We do a lot of presentations, and the main thing for us is just to educate them, make sure that they go in there safely, they know what they're doing and how they're doing it.
And we have some of those guidelines on our website at tssa.org on how to relocate, things of that nature as well, do we not?
I'm not sure about how to relocate, but we can get one on there. But we have the other guidelines there, especially on the pipeline safety and so forth, and also on the Regulation 212, which is going to impact these guys. But more importantly, what we also tell them is to get to know the inspectors for the areas, because Ontario is a huge province. So get to know the inspector, let the inspector become the liaison for you to get that information for you if you don't have that, and also work with the utilities, because the utilities will actually eventually get back to us and saying we need to do this, or at least do a presentation here. Mm-hmm. So it's a joint effort. It's not TSSA alone, but we will go solo if we have to, if the utilities are not available, depending on situation or location.
And ultimately, it's a shared sense of responsibility, right?
Yes.
And landscapers, as well as anybody who breaks ground, want the same thing that we do. They don't want things to explode or catch on fire.
Greg, the message that we send out generally is, and I tell that to anyone, before you break the ground or punch the ground, stop and think, do I have everything in place that I need to excavate this, or what I'm doing safely? And that's the message we got to get this guy to understand.
Excellent. All right, well, thanks for being with us today, guys. I hope you have a great session here at Landscapers Ontario. And stay tuned for more TSSA Safety Matters.